Good afternoon.
Muli mutya?
First and foremost, thank you very much, my brother Charles.
Mwebale nnyo. Musumba Charles tweyanziza.
That was some introduction. I like the bit about him asking one question.
Njagala nnyo bw'agambye nti okubuuza ekyo ekibuuzo ekimu.
A simple question.
Ekibuuzo ekyangu ddala.
And we end up discussing or talking for 2 hours.
Ne tumaliriza nga twogeredde essaawa 2.
Charles seems to imply I talk too much. No, I actually don't. Yes, like he has mentioned,
Nga bw'agambye.
My CV or resume, I'm now a businessman.
Businessman.
And I've been doing this for 10 years.
Abadde agikoledde emyaka 10.
I've opened a few businesses.
Atandisewo business entonotono.
Lost and closed some.
Ezimu ne ziggalwawo.
So I have failed spectacularly.
Era ina waagudde mu ngeri emu oba endala.
But a few of them are still alive.
Naye ezimu ku zo zikyali nnamu nnyo.
And so essentially you could say I am a student of business.
Era mu bumpimpi wandimulabye nga omuyizi wa business.
Yeah, like Charles said, we had a little chat, and I think it's resulted into this. So he invited me here today, so I am here.
Nga bw'agambye ntwalirayo kakyata katono era kwe kunyaniriza wano olwaleero.
Oh, but wait a minute. Please, be comfortable, take your seats.
Mulindemu
My apologies.
Mwetulireko.
Yes. I'm a banker. I was a banker before I went into business.
Yali banka nga tanaba kuyingira mu business.
But I'm a trained accountant.
Naye wabyambalira omutendeka alina obukugu mu byembalirira.
It's amazing, I'll tell you. You would think that for an accountant and someone who's done economics at university,
Kyewuunyisa nti, come again?
you would think for someone who's done economics at university and a trained accountant,
Ng'eyakola economics n'ebyembalira ku university.
you would think I am very good at business.
Oyinza okulowooza nti ye mu bya business kafulu.
If I were that good in business, I would not have failed in many businesses.
Bw'abanga okutandikawo business naye ate agudde mu business ez'enjawulo.
The topic today for me to discuss
Omutwe gwa leero gwe tugenda okwogerako
is how to identify, start and sustain a business.
engeri y'okuzuula n'okutandika n'okubeezaawo business.
I would want to address that question using by telling my story.
Njagala okunnyonnyola oba okwanukula ebibuuzo ebyo nga mbabuulira olugero lwange.
Let me start with 2010. That's when I left my last corporate job.
Kantandike ne 2010 kubanga mu mwaka ogwo mwe nava ku mulimu gwe nali nkola.
I was a banker for many years.
Yali banka okumala ebbanga ddene.
And every day we would have a number of customers coming through the bank.
Era nga buli lunaku tufuna abantu ab'enjawulo abangi nnyo mu banka eyo.
Abasoma n'abataasoma.
Those that went to school, the literate and the illiterate.
Yes, the educated and the uneducated.
Abasoma n'abatasomangako.
And of course I went to school, that's why I worked for a bank.
Era nasoma nagenda ku ssomero.
But many of our customers,
Naye ku bakasitoma baffe abasinga,
those that used to have the biggest balances on their accounts,
abaali basingayo okubeera ne ssente nnyingi ku accounts zaabwe,
abasinga tebaasoma.
most of them didn't go to school.
So, yes, you can go and clap.
Osobola okukuba mu ngalo.
The reason you're clapping,
Ensonga lwaki okuba engalo,
I would think,
ndowooza
is because wealth is not only created by those that went to school.
nti kubanga obugagga tebwatonderwa abo bokka abaagenda ku ssomero.
I always knew that.
Ekyo nali nkimanyi.
But I never really thought about going into business.
naye nga sirowoozanga kutandika oba kuyingira mu bulamu bwa business.
I remember when I was with Nile Bank,
Nzijjukira nga nkyakola Nile Bank,
there was this customer,
waaliwo kasitoma ono
every time he came into the bank,
buli kiseera bwe yajjanga mu bank
he would bow and say, manager.
nga avunnama n'agamba n'ambuuza manager.
Naye nga ku account alinako million eza $4 million.
But on his account he has 40,000 US dollars.
$4 million.
4 million US dollars.
I was just a little manager.
Nga ndi manager omwangu ennyo wa bulijjo.
But he was calling me, manager. I was just a small person, but he was calling me a manager.
Nga mpita manager.
If you had to ask the question, if someone was asked a question, who of the two of us has managed the world? Him with $4 million on the account and did not go to school, or me who went to school and I was not even earning 2 million shillings?
Kati bwe weebuuza ekibuuzo nti kufa ababiri ani managing ensi ye ayina sente zino ku banka ate agenda ku ssomero oba nze yagenda ku ssomero naye nga nze manager mu banka eyo.
So that always played on my mind whenever I met people like him.
Kaakati ekyo kyavuganga nnyo mu ndowooza zange ne mu bwongo bwange lwe nasinkananga abantu bwe batyo.
So in 2010 I happened to be in KCB.
Mu 2010 natandika okukola ATB. KCB.
Nayina muganda wange.
He had a friend, he had a brother.
Nga ye, he never went into formal employment.
Nga talina mirimu gino egy'abaasoma.
Ejaffe holding down a job.
Nga afuna mulimu.
Not like ours, holding down a job. He was a guy employing himself.
Nga ye ayina neekolera gyange nga yeetandikirawo egijje.
He was in produce, like Pastor Ezra mentioned. He was in produce, agriculture. But what he used to do, he would go to Chiboga, ng'agula kasooli,
buy maize,
ng'amuleeta e Kampala,
brings it in Kampala,
ng'atunda.
sells.
He would make many runs. I knew that's what he was doing.
Nali manyi by'akola.
Ngamba nti, I could do this as well.
And I said, nange kino nsobola okukikola.
What if he and I partnered?
Olaba otya nze naye nga tufuuse partner mu business eno.
Kubanga nalaba buli sente ze muwa within 2 weeks ng'azizza.
Because each and every coin I gave him in 2 weeks he would bring back the money.
So ne mutuuza
We sat.
one time and ne mugamba, okay, how about we partner?
Ne mugamba nti olaba otya singa tukola partnership.
Nze nteekemu sente
I invested money
kubanga nze nina omulimu sinza guvaako ne ngenda nawe mu field.
because I have a job, I can't go into the field.
You run the operation
Gwe ddukanya emirimu egyo.
and we'll split the profits.
Kaakati amagoba tugenda gagabanyaamu.
Nakkiriza.
He agreed.
So we did this for about 6 months
Ne tukikolera okumala emyezi 6.
and the money, our capital we had sunk in was growing.
Era capital waffe gwe twateekamu ng'akulidde ddala.
Ye ng'agenda ogeeza ekibuga, hoima n'akoma n'agula kasooli n'akoma n'amutunda n'addayo. That was all.
Goes to Chiboga, brings it to Kampala, sells, goes back like that.
Bwe twatuula wansi,
When we sat down,
again, at that point nga tulina capital kubanga nali ntaddemu million 6.
I had
6 months later nga tulina million 38.
I had invested 6 million naye oluvannyuma nga zikuze mu million 38.
Ekirowoozo ne kijja in my head.
I got a thought.
Ne ngamba, how about we add value?
Olaba otya singa tugattako omutindo.
Mu kifo ky'okutunda raw maize, just the grain, how about if we added value?
Mu kifo ky'okutunda empeke za kasooli olaba otya singa tugattako omutindo.
Awo nga kyentegeeza nti, okay, tufune ekifo
Let's get a place
we tuyinza okuzimba okustartinga maize mill.
where we can construct a maize mill.
Ono kasooli gwe tugula ne tumuleeta ne tumukuba.
When we bring our maize, we grind it and make push it.
netufuna mu maize meal or maize flour, whatever you'd call it,
kyonna engeri gy'osobola okukiyitamu naye akawunga
netumutunda.
we sell it.
Now, essentially what we're saying is that was a different business idea from what we were doing before.
Kaakati ekyo kyali kirowoozo kirala ekyali ekyenjawulo mu bizinesi eri gye twali tukola.
You see, identifying a business,
Okuzuula business.
we're talking about identifying an idea that births a business.
Tutegeeza wano okufuna ekirowoozo ekigenda okuzaala business.
Starting a business is both exciting and challenging.
Okutandika business kisanyusa nnyo ate kirimu okusoomooza.
And there are some general steps in starting a business.
Era waliwo emitendera egy'enjawulo nnyo ng'otandika business.
But I want to tell my story on the side as I enumerate the steps of identifying, starting, and sustaining a business.
Naye njagala nkozesa olugero lwange ate nga mbayisa mu steps zino oba ku mitendera gino egy'okutandika business.
Generally, the first one is the idea
Ekisookera ddala kye kirowoozo.
or the concept. Kirowoozo era.
Kirowoozo.
The concept that, or the idea that you are passionate about
Ekirowoozo ky'oyagala ky'olinamu obwagazi
and has the potential for profit.
ate nga kirina amaanyi okuleeta amagoba.
Those are two important things there.
Ebyo no bintu bibiri.
It's important that you're
bya njawulo.
passionate about this idea, this business that you're considering.
Oyagala nnyo idea eno gy'otandise oba gy'oleseewo.
But it is more important, like Pastor Ezra mentioned,
Naye ate
that it has potential for profit because that is what will sustain you in that business.
naye ate kikulu nnyo ng'omusumba Ezra bwe yagambye nti olina okumakinga sure nti ekirowoozo kino kizaala amagoba kubanga kye kiruubiru lwaki otandika ekintu kino.
Like I said, starting a business is like starting a building project, building your house.
Okutandika okuba n'ekirowoozo kino kiba kiringa ng'okutandika oba okutandika okuzimba ennyumba.
It's exciting when you break ground and start digging the foundation.
Owulira essanyu nga olima oba nga okola omusingi ogusooka okutandika okuzimba.
There's hope. You're excited.
Wabeerawo essuubi n'essanyu mu liri balingi.
Even when you don't have all the funds for the project on the account.
Newankubadde nga ssente zonna tozirina ezitandika project eno.
The most important thing is getting started.
Ekisingira ddala obukulu kwe kutandika.
Now, you will meet some challenges along the way.
Ojja kusisinkana ebisoomoozo eby'enjawulo mu kkubo wano
Of
ng'otandika.
course, the most common when you're building your housing project is a lack of adequate resources, the financing.
Bw'oba ng'ozimba ennyumba ekisookera ddala ku kubanga tolina nsimbi zimala.
That is why you
Yes.
have to be extra motivated.
Yes.
That passion is what will make you go through those difficult challenges, those headwinds when they come.
Y'ensonga lwaki olina okuzibwamu amaanyi nga olaba ekyo ky'otandika osobole okuyita mu biri by'otanaba oba ebikusoomooza.
So yes, first step in identifying and starting a business is the idea.
Omutendera ogusooka
Ensure
kirowoozo.
that it is an idea that has a potential for profit
Ofuba okulaba
and
nti
you're passionate about it.
fuba okulaba ekirowoozo kino nti okyagala ate kirina obusobozi okuzaala amagoba.
But do research on this idea.
Naye ate noonyereza ku kirowoozo kino.
Understand the market.
Tegeera akatale.
A product or service is offered to a market.
Come again.
A product or service is offered to a market.
Obuweereza bw'oba olina buba bugenda mu katale.
Your market is your target customer or your potential customer.
Akatale ko be bantu bano b'oluubirwa okuba nga bagenda kutwala ekintu kino ky'ogenda okutunda.
Woba olunda enkoko, bw'oya kutandika bizinesi y'enkoko,
If you want to begin a poultry business,
ogenda zitunza ani?
who are your potential customers?
Don't look at the market in the UK.
Totunuulira
Like
katale
Pastor
ka
Ezra
UK.
said, location. You start around you, your local. your community.
Omusumba Ezra yagambye nti sooka onoonyereze oba olaba abantu abakwetoolodde.
Restaurant ezitunda emmere weeziri.
Tuyinawo restaurant ezitunda emmere. Do we have those restaurants around?
Another thing about doing research on your concept, your idea, is competition. Toli weka.
Then research endala gy'olina okunoonyerezaako be bantu abakuvuganya oba abakola ekintu kyekimu
Bani abalala bali mu ekyo ky'oyagala okukola oba ky'oyagala okuyingiramu.
which other people are doing the same business that you are doing or that you're intending to begin.
Ba size ki?
At what level are they?
Baliwa how far? A kilometer away? Baliwa kumpi?
Are they far away from you or not?
Capacity yaabwe ki? Size? Balina enkoko mmeka? Alina enkoko 20 oba ziri 10 oba 100?
What is the size of their business?
Understand your customer. I mean
Tegeera
your competitor.
bakompitita bo aba bakuvuganya.
Yes. Of course, ne pricing. Oya kuyingira mu kintu mungu ogenda zituma ku sente mmeka.
Kati emiwendo gy'ebintu bino by'ogenda okutandika okutunda.
So, in identifying the idea, you're going to do research on this idea or concept.
Mu kuzuula ekirowoozo kino olina okunoonyereza ku bikwata ku kirowoozo kino.
Now, back to my story. Like I said, I'm going to use my own experience. So I can just drive it home. This is something I went through myself.
Okuddayo mu lugero lwange kubanga kino kye nayitamu nze kennyini.
Okutuula nsi ne muganda nti kati we are just buying raw maize. Why don't we add value? Why don't we produce maize meal? Why don't we produce maize flour?
To sit down with my brother and tell him to change the concept, to add value on what we were doing then,
I knew for sure
nali nkimanyirira ddala
maize meal or flour
nti akawunga kano
is a meal that is eaten in every household.
kye kyetaagisa mu nnyumba yonna.
Me being an accountant and a banker, of course, I just went online and did a bit of market research on maize flour production, consumption in households and things like that.
Nze okubeera accountant ne mu banking nali nina ogenda ku mitimbagano nsobole okunoonyereza ku bizinesi eno ey'akawunga.
So I knew what I was talking about when I sat down with him.
Kati nali mmanyi kye njogerako we natuula naye.
Nakkiriza, ne tukkiriza.
We accepted or we agreed.
The next thing was, how do we do this?
Ekyaddako kye kibuuzo ekyali nti kino ekintu tukikola tutya?
Twagala kukola buwunga.
We want to
Produce maize.
produce flour.
Well, there are a number of ways you could do it. You could go buy your maize, take it to a maize mill that is owned by somebody and pay them a small fee for them to produce the maize meal for you.
Genda ogule kasooli w'omutwale ku kyuma oba wowe kasente bafulumye akawunga kw'oyagala.
Or you can set up your own maize meal.
Oba ogenda kusobola okutandikawo ekyuma kyo.
Ekyo kye twali twagala, ekyo kye nayagala nze.
That's what David wanted.
How do you go about setting up a maize mill?
Kati ekyuma kino okitandika otya?
Maybe olina okubeera n'ettaka.
Maybe
You
you
got to
could
have
be
land.
having land.
So we actively started looking for land.
Ne tutandika okunoonya ettaka.
Ne tulifuna.
We got it.
Remember, his produce runs were along Hoima Chiboga Road.
Jjukira ye yali akolera ku Hoima Kiboga Road.
Ne tusalawo,
And we decided
well, we'll buy land along Hoima Road.
tugule ettaka ku Hoima Road.
Ne tufuna 2 acres along Kachiri,
We got 2 acres e Kachiri.
not very far from the main road.
Si wala nnyo okuva ku kkubo.
Ne tuligula.
We bought it.
And we set about developing it.
Ne tutandika okulikulaakulanya.
Okuzimbako maize meal yaffe.
To build our maize mill.
1 year down the road,
Ng'omwaka gumu guyise,
in fact, that was the beginning of 2010. So around 2009,
nga 2010 atandika
by mid 2010,
2010
nga maize mill ewedde.
maize mill, the maize mill construction, we had finished doing that.
Oh, okay, all right. She's the new translator. Okay, great. He's handed over the button to her. Eh? You're welcome to my stage.
Thank you.
Yeah. So 2010 mid, we were done with the maize mill.
2010 nga tumaliriza.
But as we were building the maize mill,
Naye nga tuzimba
I
ekkubiro
continued doing
ly'obuwunga,
research.
ne nnyongera okunoonyereza
on the byproducts, or just about the milling process.
ne nnoonyereza ku makubiro gano ag'obuwunga.
I discovered and realized that actually there's a huge byproduct of the maize milling process.
Ne nzuulira ddala ekivaamu ekyo eky'omuwendo ekyokuva mu kkubiro ly'obuwunga.
Maize bran. Maize bran.
Oh, maize bran oba emmere y'enkoko.
Yeah, so in my mind, that triggered something in my mind.
Mu bwongo bwange ne mbaako kye nafuna.
I was like, I guess we can also produce poultry feed and animal feed.
Ne ndowooza ne ŋŋamba okay, tusobola okufuna emmere y'ebisolo n'ey'ebinyonyi.
Okay, usually what's the easiest idea when it comes to feeding poultry?
Kirowoozo ki ekitera okwanguwa ng'olowooza ku kulunda?
So poultry, we decided on poultry and we started building the hen houses.
Ne tusalawo okulunda ebinyonyi ne tuzimba ebiyumba by'enkoko.
Even before buying the chicks,
Nga tetunnaba na kugula
I was
nkoko.
confident enough, I had done enough research.
Nali mumalirivu nnyo nga nkoze okunoonyereza
The maize
okumala.
meal was about done.
Ekkubiro ly'obuwunga nga liwedde,
I started building the chicken houses.
ne ntandika okuzimba ebiyumba by'enkoko.
Ekyanyamba, you seeing all these things running at the same time is because I was a banker.
What helped me okuddukanya ebintu
I had
bino
a good
byombi,
salary.
nali muteresi wa nsimbi ng'ate
Sente
ninako ne
nenziteekamu
ssente,
nga nina ne savings.
nga nina n'ezentereseewo.
Ezo ze nakozesa.
That's what I used.
Pastor Ezra here said, you have many sources of capital, initial capital. A number of sources. You can borrow from family, friends. You can borrow from the financial institutions.
Oyina ewantu wa mirundi mingi nnyo w'osobola okujja ensimbi
You can use your
ezitandika.
savings.
Osobola okukozesa z'otereka.
You can liquidate assets that you have, property, whatever it may be.
Osobola okutunda by'olinawo.
But remember, there's a cost
Naye jjukira waliwo
of
omuwendo
each source of capital. There's a cost.
ku buli wojja entandikwa.
If you have savings, like Pastor Ezra said, it is better that you use your savings.
Bw'oba olina ze watereka kisingako z'oba okozesa.
I used my savings to do that.
Era nange ze nakozesa.
Awo kansimbewo akati.
Let me pause a little bit.
The first step was identifying your idea or your concept and doing the research around it.
Ekyasoose kyabadde
But remember,
kuzuula.
you need to be passionate about this idea, this business idea,
Ekyasoose
and
kyabadde kuzuula
it's got to have a
kirowoozo.
potential for profit.
Naye olina okuba nga ekirowoozo kino ate okyagala ate nga kizaala n'amagoba.
Step two,
Ekyokubiri.
among some of the general steps when identifying a business and starting one, a business plan.
Kati mpa ensonga zino ez'olukale z'osobola okutandika nazo.
Olaba okozesa research yo on the idea,
You're done with your research oba okunoonyereza.
put it on paper, document it.
Wandiika.
When you write stuff down,
Bw'owandiika
it helps you understand and internalize these things better.
kikuyamba okubitegeera ate n'okubifumiitirizaako.
Business plan, your document, is not just for your financials or for partners you're looking to partner with you to provide funding.
Okuteeka ebintu mu buwandiike tekiyamba abo b'ogenda okuggyako ssente.
Chiyamba gwe.
It only helps you.
No, I'm saying it does not only help your financials or partners you're seeking to partner with in your project to provide the funding.
Tekiyamba banno bokka b'ogenda kutandika bizinesi eno nabo. Wabula kiyamba.
Kisinga kuyamba gwe.
It helps you most.
Because you have a roadmap,
Kubanga oyina olugendo oba oyina
a
map.
plan that you are going to follow
Enteekateeka gy'ogenda okugoberera
when you're executing this business idea.
nga ogenda okuteeka mu nkola ekirowoozo kino ekya bizinensi.
Remember, business plan yeno mulimu, what are your goals? Why do you want to set up this business?
Lwaki
Enumerate them very clearly.
biwandiike mu bulambulukufu.
You're going to talk about the market, your target market, your potential customers.
Akatale ne bakasitoma b'oluubirira okutuukirira.
You need to understand them.
Olina okubategeera.
Baliwa,
Where are they?
what is their level of income?
Enfuna yaabwe eri etya?
What are their preferences when it comes to this product? How often do they consume this product?
Bwe kituuka ku kintu kino bakyetaaga mu bungi ki?
You're also going to do something regarding your financial forecasts.
Ogenda nakubaako ky'okola ku
Kubanga
biseera by'emmaaso eby'ensimbi.
Yeah, ogenda kwebuuza kino kye njagala okuyingiramu kigenda kuneeta ssente mmeka?
You're going to ask yourself that this idea that I want to go on with, how much is it going to give me?
Ngenda kipricinga ku ssente mmeka? Ngenda kitunda ku ssente mmeka?
How much am I going to sell it?
Ngenda kukola volume, ngenda tuna volumes zenkana wa?
How much quantity am I going to sell? Oba bungi ki?
3 months down the road, 6 months, ngenda kukola ssente mmeka?
Myezi 3, myezi 6, how much money am I going to make?
12 months down the road, myaka 2-3.
Emyezi 12, 2-3 years.
It just helps you to understand. And of course, remember, when we are talking about the sales projection, you're also projecting operational, because you're going to operationalize a business.
Kikuyambako no. Pardon?
You need to understand the operations. How are you going to run the business?
Kikuyambako n'okutegeera butya bw'ogenda okuddukanya bizinensi eno.
Ogenda kwetaaga abakozi.
You'll need workers.
Ogambye you want to do poultry, whatever. Ate the structures okubizimba bino bye tuzimbye already ekakiri wano.
Kaakati gwe ayagala okulunda enkoko olina oteekawo ebiyumba.
The feed ogenda gijjawa.
Emmere ogenda kugiggyawa.
Ours, of course, was going to be a little different. We had a maize mill producing maize bran.
Ffe ekyaffe kyali
Tugenda kujjamu maize, producing flour. Tugenda kujjamu maize bran, which will feed our chicken.
Ffe ekyaffe kyali kyanjawulo nti twalina ekkubiro ly'obuwunga nga tusobola okufuna emmere
Yeah,
y'enkoko.
you capture all that. Marketing strategies.
Okutunda oba
Ogenda
akatale.
kutunda otya?
How are you going to sell?
What are your channels of distribution, selling? What are you going to use?
Osaasaanya otya ebintu byo by'oguze ki ky'ogenda okukozesa?
Ebyo byonna bibeera mu plan yo. Like I said, when we write business plan, it shouldn't be too complicated. Some of those things, I see potential students for the business class, for Pastor Ezra here. And just people who just want to start business. You may not be part of his class.
Ndaba abayizi aba
But
bizinensi.
these are things that you need to understand. You ask yourself those questions.
Wandibanga togenda kubeera kitundu ku kibiina kino naye ng'ebibuzo bino ogenda kubyebuuza.
Because these increase your chances of success.
Kubanga bino byongeza emikisa gyo egy'okuyitimuka.
Now, in our general steps, you have the legal structure and registration.
Mu mitendera gyaffe egy'olukale gye tugenda okwogerako waliwo
Legal structure and registration.
okuwandiisa bizinensi mu mateeka.
Absolutely. Perfect. You can be a sole proprietor like me, Emitu and Sons. Mampita Emitu.
Oh.
I could just start running it as Emitu and Sons.
Osobola okugiwandiisa mu mannya go ag'obwannannyini oba ggwe ssekinoomu.
Yeah, so it's not, because there are many forms a business can take in terms of the legal structure.
Kati waliwo emitendera mingi bizinensi gy'esobola okugendamu.
Operate as a sole proprietor.
Osobola okuwandiisa nga ssekinoomu.
Can be a partnership, invite friends to partner with you.
Oba n'oyita mikwano gyo ne
Of
mukwasaganyiza
course, you
wamu.
need to have a partnership deed and things like that. There are all that back end, the documentation.
N'okutereka ebiwandiiko.
Or a limited liability company. Limited liability company.
What's that?
A company whose liability is limited to the shareholding contributed or paid up in the business. I don't know how to that in Luganda.
I'm trying to get it.
Companies zemulaba limited or something limited. Which limited? Those are limited liability companies.
Ezo kampuni ezibaako akagambo limited zibaako n'ekkomo. Is that it?
I don't know who can help us here. But anyway, there's a forms. Yeah? Now, Each one of them presents its own advantages and disadvantages.
buli kimu ku byo kibaako ebirungi
For
n'ebibi.
abasinga, we want to start our businesses and just run it as Mary or as John, whatever enterprise or whatever. Naye nga tetugisirinze, teri registered.
Kati ffe abamu twagala okuziwandiisa mu mannya gaffe naye nga
Naye nga
simpandiise mu butongole.
The current law now, the regulatory environment, the requirement is that even for sole proprietorships, all businesses have to be registered.
Kati etteeka eririwo nti buli bizinensi oba ya bwannannyini oba y'abantu abagassa awamu amaanyi zirina okuba
Even
nga
an
mpandiise.
individual has to have a tax identification number now.
N'omuntu oyo alina okuba ng'alina ennamba eyesasula omusolo
Of
gye
course, the
tuyita
objective
TIN.
of the government
Ekigendererwa kya
is to
gavumenti
ensure that the informal sector is narrowed. Informal sector. Wano abeekolera ebyaffe bino without registering under kini, ntambula ne briefcase yange ntunda kino, that informal sector.
abantu abo abatundira mu
KCCA takimanyi nti gy'oli, URA takimanyi nti gy'oli, tewali akimanyi nti gy'oli, naye ng'otunda, olina by'otunda, olina by'okola, okola sente zo zijja, naye nga toli registered.
ekigendererwa kya gavumenti kwe kukakasa nti bano abatundira mu be tuyita bakifeesi bakendeezebwa.
The biggest disadvantage with that is that your growth can be limited when you operate as a sole proprietorship or if your business is not formally registered.
Akabi akasinga mu ekyo nti okukulaakulanako kubaako we kukoma singa osalawo okukola mu bwassekinnoomu.
But the advice is that you don't always have to rush to incorporate a business.
Naye amagezi gali nti tolina kupapa kutandika kukola
The most
bizinesi.
important thing is to get started.
Ekisinga kwe kutandika.
If you want to scale up and to grow,
Bw'oba oyagala kukulaakulana
it's always advantageous to register, incorporate a business.
kiba kirungi owandiise bizinensi yo.
But then also now, like I said, what the regulatory environment, what compliance is, URA, KCCA, is that business, there will be licenses, there will be permits, you have to get them.
Kati wabaawo
They're really important.
kye tuyita pamiti oba ekiwandiiko ekikukkiriza okukola.
Now, for us at the farm, kati tuzimbye ebiyumba by'enkoko,
Kati ffe ku faamu
maize meal enetera okugwa.
ekkubiro ly'obuwunga
What did we
linaatera
decide to
okugwa.
do? I registered Era Farms Limited.
Ne nsalawo okuwandiisa Era
So
Farms
nasalawo
Limited.
nze to incorporate. My background, everything about me, that's how I always, I wasn't going to do anything less.
Nali sirina kye ŋŋenda kukola kikka wansi w'ekyo.
So incorporated the business, net opening Era Farms Limited.
Bizinensi ne tugiggulawo nga Era Farm.
Okay. Now, the other one is the next step in this. Some of these general steps is identifying and starting a business.
Ekirala-
Is finances.
Mu mitendera egy'okunoonya bizinensi bye byensimbi.
The consideration for finances is very important.
Okuteeka okusimba essira ku byensimbi kya makulu ddala.
The first one we've spoken about,
Ekisooka kye
the source
twayogeddeko
of your capital. Sente zogenda okuteeka mu business.
ensibuko ya ssente ezitandika.
Zivuddewa ozigjeewa.
Where is it coming from?
So you choose your capital. It depends on whatever is available to you, is at your disposal.
Osalawo ssente ezo ezitandika w'ozijja okusinziira ku gwe nga bw'olaba.
But be mindful of the cost.
Naye beera
You can
mwegendereza.
borrow, and you can have so many well-wishers who want to see you do well, and they will give you, they have access to money, and they can give it to you.
Osobola okwewolera ng'olina banna abakwagaliza okubeera obulungi nga basobola okuwola.
But maybe it will come at a cost.
Naye nakyo kibaako omutemwa.
Even when there is no financial cost, interest.
Ne waba nga tewaliiwo magoba.
Mukwano gwo akumanyi bulungi, akwagaliza,
A friend that knows you well enough
n'akuwa million 10,
and gives you 10 million shillings.
no interest.
Tewali
Yeah,
magoba.
ozisasule whenever, maybe 6 months, 1 year, whatever.
But they
Yeah?
want you to pay back.
N'oziteeka mu business,
You put it in
business
business
neegaana neefa,
and the business fails.
nezifiirayo. Many times, you see that cost?
Olaba
He trusted you,
omutemu gwe
yakuwa
yakwesiga,
sente, you've
gave you
lost his
money,
money.
kati
So there are costs.
ozibuzizza.
Even when there's no financial cost, there is still a cost.
Naye waba tewali mutemu era gubaawo.
Yeah. So the safest is your savings if you have any,
Kati ekisinga okubeera ekirungi bw'oba
or
ng'olina
your
ssente ze
own
watereka
personal resources,
oba ebibi
whatever form they
eby'obuntu
may be.
mu kikula kyonna.
Again, about finances, remember when we talk about finance, we're also talking about, remember, you've started a business, there's a business and then there's you.
waliwo bizinensi ate waliwo naawe.
From very early on, this bit here by Pastor Ezra,
Gye buvuddeko emabega wano omusumba Ezra
abalaze number, the profitability at the bottom there, income, the expenses, then the residue there, which we call profit.
he showed you the numbers, waliwo kye tuyita amagoba.
Those are proceeds of the business that you have engaged in.
Ebyo bye biva mu bizinensi gye weetabyemu.
Now, there's a difference between that business and yourself. You need to realize that very, very early.
Waliwo enjawulo wakati wa bizinensi naawe ng'omuntu.
In fact, that's why you need to have, now under finances here, how are you going, when you receive this money,
Bw'ofuna ssente zino,
how are you going to record it? Recording is important.
ogenda ziwandiika otya kubanga okuwandiika kwa
Like Pastor
makulu.
Ezra said, a register.
Okuwandiika.
Simple. Record everything coming in.
Buwandiika buli kimu
Record everything
ekiyingira.
going out.
Buwandiika buli kimu ekifuluma.
Just know it is not your money.
Gwe manya bumanya
It
ssente
is the
si zizo.
business's money.
Ssente za bizinensi.
At the bottom down there, kisigalawo kyonna, that residue,
Era wansi awo
if it is positive,
bwe kiba ng'ekivaamu kirungi,
ng'otunze high,
you've sold high,
by'otaddemu okugenerating ebyo by'otunze is low, there's like a positive result down there.
wabaawo ebivaamu nga birungi
That's
singa
a
kye wateekamu
profit.
kitono nga byofunye bingi.
You can then do whatever you want with that.
Kati awo osobola okukola buli kyonna ky'oyagala n'ezo.
Good advice also, there were a number of questions asked here.
Wabaddewo ebibuuzo
When do I pay
ebyabuuziddwa.
myself?
Neesasula ddi?
You can pay yourself twice.
Osobola okwesasula emirundi ebiri.
Even as you operate the business, remember this
Era ng'oddukanya
idea
business.
that you have, that is now a business and is generating money.
Jjukira ekirowoozo kino ekyatandika ng'ekirowoozo kati kireeta ssente.
You're operating this on a day-to-day basis.
Kino kati okitambuza buli lunaku.
You wake up every day to go to a business, if you have a shop or whatever it is, or this farm for me in my case.
Ozukka buli lunaku okugenda ku bizinensi eno oba edduuka oba faamu.
There are fuel costs,
Waliwo amafuta,
there's time you have spent.
obudde bw'omaze.
It's essentially what it's doing is denying you opportunities to dwell on other things.
Kikukugira n'emikisa okubaako ate ebirala bye weesigamako.
So you need to pay yourself.
Weetaaga okwesasula.
It's highly advisable that you have a line in there in your expenses where you pay yourself. Pay yourself a salary.
Magezi gaweewera ddala nti weesasula omusaala.
Nakubulira ekituufu, if you're not paying yourself,
Bw'oba teweesasula,
then down there oinaka profit.
wansi awo oyinawo amagoba.
You're not paying yourself.
Teweesasula.
Naye ng'oyinawo ka profit. Otunze,
You've sold,
otaddemu,
you've put in,
by'otunze
and what you've
biri
sold
more than by'otaddemu.
bisinga
profit.
what
Okay.
you have invested in.
Maybe ka profit kali 1 million.
Amagoba gayinza okuba nga gali miliyoni emu.
Naye bulijjo ogenda ku guno omulimu to go to this business. Si mulimu, this business.
Each and every day you go
Amasimu
to this
g'okuba
business.
okola ki?
The
Which
phone
has
calls
cost
that
you
you
1,200,000 through the month.
Zimazeewo miliyoni emu.
You take a profit.
Ago tegaba magoba.
So you need to be very, very careful.
Olina okuba
Yeah?
omwegendereza
That is
ennyo.
why it is important. Keep your financial information.
Kuuma ebiwandiiko byo
Everything,
ebyensimbi.
all expenses.
Buli kimu
recording.
ensaasaanya
Ekigenze
yonna.
mu business, si nti oguza amatooke n'olya eka for
What
dinner.
has gone in the
Nedda.
business.
Kyotaddemu mu business. Wadde ogenda ku muli, you're going to the business, you paid for a border.
Ogenze ku mulimu osasudde boda, you write
That's a
it down.
cost together, yes. Okuleeta inputs into the business, olina
Byolese,
kusasudde border.
okuyingiza bizinesi,
those costs.
you paid a boda n'okiwandiika.
Oguze kasooli, ogenda mukuba mu maize meal yo.
You bought maize,
That's a
ng'ogenda
cost.
mukuba n'owandiika.
Maybe tozimbye. Olina property gy'otadde mu maize meal, osasula rent, ekifo si kikyo.
Oyina ekifo
That's a cost.
w'osasula. Ezo nazo
Ebyo
ssente.
byonna, amazzi, amasannyalaze, all those are
Water,
costs.
electricity.
Record them carefully so you know.
Byonna biwandiike
The beauty
osobole
with
okumanya.
recording this financial information,
Ekirungi ekiri mu
is
kuwandiika
that
ebintu
you
bino
know.
nti omanya.
information is important for decision making.
Okumanya kwa makulu nnyo okukukulembera
Let's go
okusalawo.
forward. We could talk more in that area. Then also, sente ogenda zitereka. Open a bank account. Now this is under finances again. You're doing these are your steps. First, you identify the idea, you do research on it. You do a business plan.
Ekisooka onoonyereza n'omanya.
Then legal structure. Ngenda ku trading nga nze David Emitu oba ngenda ku incorporating
Kati
oba
business
ngenda
n'ogiwandiisa
kufuna
mu
bannange,
mateeka.
we form a partnership. You decide.
Osalawo.
Then the other thing to think about is finances. Sente zivuddewa.
Where is the money coming from?
Also, finance to do with finances. bwe batutandisa okuoperatinga sente tuzirekodinze tutya zino sales expenses
How
ebyo
do we
byonna
record everything?
financial management
Bituuze.
within the business it can be as basic as it is as long as it is captured
Kasita
somewhere
biba
and you know
ng'obiwandiise.
it. Bank account esente gazitereka
Gulawo akawunti mu banka.
yeah open an account it's good
Kirungi.
it's important mobile money nayo weeri you can start there
Osobola
Start
otandikira
there,
ku
like as
mobile
is-
money.
yeah, but you record it
Naye ng'oziwandiika wansi.
but no the finances belong to the business are not yours
Naye nga manya nti ssente
just
za
because you have
bizinesi zizo.
sold 5 chicken
Olw'okuba
at
ng'otunze
20,000 each mitwalo
enkoko
10
ttaano ku mitwalo
ezo si
10.
sente zo is not profit tomala gazirya
That is not your money.
now the other step when you are trying to start your business is
ekirala.
location infrastructure
Ekifo
business ngenda
n'ekizimbe.
gikolera wa
Where am I going to do
we've
the
talked about
business
that
from?
already for me my case twagula ettaka we
Nze
decided
kuwange,
yes
we
I want to do
bought
is
land.
a maize mill
Kwe kutandika ekkubiro
Netugula ettaka.
ly'obuwunga. We bought land.
kyekigenda infrastructure kyekigenda mu maize mill nze njenkadde maize mill equipment I imported a maize mill from India
Ekkubiro ekyo ekikuba obuwunga nakijja mu Buyindi.
nengiteekamu what else is infrastructure the
Kye
structure
kirala.
because we had our own land we're not going to put the maize mill in the open
Kati eryo
we
ttaka
had to
lyaffe.
build a house a structure for it
Engeri gye lyali nti ttaka lyaffe twalina okuteekawo ekizimbe.
mwe tugenda okukolera so we did that so location is important
Ekifo.
but remember location has got to be relevant to where your market is for some products location and your target market
Ekifo.
have a serious consideration of that
Ekifo n'akatale k'oluubirira bitambula byombi.
tokola research e Kampala on poultry and selling of chicken n'ogenda n'osetting up a soroti ze gyenva
Do not do research ku kulunda enkoko mu Kampala
about those things very
and you go
carefully.
to Soroti.
muganda wange was using Hoima route ogenda okugula kasooli
My brother yali akozesa
that
oluguudo
is
lwe
why we
Hoima.
chose Kachiri
Y'ensonga lwaki twasalawo Kakiri.
Kachiri you know Wakiso Kachiri yeah, you know along then Chiboga
Ku
yes
luguudo
along the
olwo.
route
Ku luguudo
so when he's
olwo.
coming back with the maize
Kati
he just
bw'aba
comes
ava-
straight to our warehousing facilities
Bw'abajja ne kasooli ayitira butereevu ku faamu.
yeah so location is important how are you
Ekifo.
location could also be you know remember you're thinking it doesn't have to be right now my example my own experience is the chicken the poultry business it could be
Ekyokulabirako
something
kyange kya
else you
nkoko.
can do it from home
Kiyinza okuba ekintu ekirala
Olina ennyumba
kyosobola
nga
okukolera
nnene,
ewaka.
this activity or product or service you're looking to sell onto the market, provide to the market, you could probably do at home.
Waliwo ky'oba osobola okukolera ewaka if you have a
Can
big
rent a
house.
space, build like or build like we did.
Osobola okuzimba nga naffe bwe twakola.
For some, that location could actually be online.
Eri abamu ekifo ekyo kisobola okubeera ku mutimbagano.
There are businesses now in this day and age, the information age, where the shop is the online shop. It's a virtual shop.
Kati
Everything is done there.
ebisangi
Customers will
zino,
find you there.
amaduuka
So those are
agabeera
the
ku
options you need to
mutimbagano.
consider. Branding and marketing.
Okulamba n'okuteeka ku katale.
Logo. That logo, part of your brand identity. All those are brand elements, part of your, you know, they say who you are.
Ebyo bye byogera
Talk about
kikyoli
you, yeah. Who you want to be. You know, even the name.
n'erinnya
My
lyennyini.
business you've heard, one of them is Inyamat.
Bizinesi zange
Inyamat
muziwuliddeko
Restaurant.
emu kwezo ye Inyamat.
Simple name. Simple.
Linnya lyangu.
I'm sure all of you can guess what it is. Most of you will say Nyama. Okay, it's not really Nyama, but it's food. Inyamat in Ateso means food.
Inyamat mu luteeso kitegeeza
I'll tell
mmere.
you, it is memorable. It stays with somebody. Inyamat. There are
Kiba-
not too many.
Kisigala ku bwongo
Hey,
bw'omuntu.
not California, Boston restaurant. Nedda. Not things like that. Something. It's part of your brand. Eh? You're building a brand here. Okitegeera?
Ozimba
Something.
linnya.
Yeah, something. So the name is important.
Erinnya
Name
nakyo
is
kya
part of
makulu.
your brand.
Erinnya kye kitundu ku ebyo ebikulamba.
So, ojja kukola ka logo. No big deal, but the name important.
Erinnya lya makulu.
Then, you, of course, marketing. Yeah, branding and marketing. Those are
Akatale.
important.
Akatale.
How are you going to market your product? How are you going to reach your customer?
Ogenda kutunda
Even now,
otya n'okutuukira bakasitoma abo.
Very important, eh? Online, you know, lately, social media,
Kati ku mitimbagano,
billboards, you know. Do you
Ebipande.
want, if you have the resources, hire a marketing agency, you know, they'll do the work for you, eh?
bw'oba olina ssente ng'ofuna bakitunzi.
Yeah. After that, remember now, Kati, you cannot open the business. Nga toyina bagenda kukolera. Wetaaga abantu. For us, it was a maize mill. Me, I knew nothing about it. We have invested in a maize mill. Tuzimbye ebiyumba by'enkoko. I know nothing about poultry. I'm not going to feed them. Sigenda take amazzi ne feeds and everything. Sigenda kuba kasooli and whatever mix with mukene and everything. I'm not going to do that. Tibimanyi.
Ffe twaggulawo ekkubiro ly'obuwunga naye
So
nga
next
sirina
twetaaga
kyemmanyi ku
abakozi.
ebyo
Twetaaga
byonna.
abakozi. Ne tubafuna. So you
We
get a
needed
team.
workers.
So you hire people.
Ojja kubaako
Yeah, so
b'opangisa
you're
okukolera.
looking to start your business. You're considering all these things. Ng'obiwandiika.
Ebyo byonna
Ngenda kola
olina
maize mill. Ani agenda
okubitunuulira.
ogirunninga? Bantu bameka?
Ngenda kukola ekkubiro ly'obuwunga
Ngenda
ani agenda
bajjawa?
oddibeeramu. How many
Ngenda
people and
basasula
where am I
ssente
going to
mmeka?
get them from? How much money am I going to pay them?
All that is important. Now that is in your operation and your team. But even just the processes.
Naye
How are you
n'omitendera
going to
mw'oyitira.
carry on the production process to produce this maize meal that then later has a byproduct of maize bran? Those processes are important as well. How are you going to do this? The team is going to come. How are you going to do this? How are you going to get, that entire, the supply chain as well?
Kati okuba
How do you
obuwunga
manage that?
okuba obuwunga buno ne buvaamu maize brand bino byonna ogenda
Kasooli, we already know
bikwasaganya
tumanyi
otya.
gy'ava. Bw'ajja bw'atuuka ku farm.
When-
It was a farm then.
When it comes to the farm,
Tumuteeka wa?
where do we put it?
How do we store it?
Tumutereka tutya?
How do we get it into the meal house?
Tumuteeka tutya mu kiyumba ekyo ekikuba
Yes,
obuwunga?
bwe tuba tumaze okukuba akawunga kavuddemu, tugenda kukuba namba emu namba bbiri bwati. All the considerations, How do we bag?
Tuteerekamu tutya
This
mu-
maize bran, tugenda mukwesa. How are we going to bag it? Where are we going to store it?
maize brand ye tugenda
All
muteekawa.
those operational considerations. You need to
Ebyo
think
byonna
about these processes, the activities that help you to produce this product for
Emirimu
onward
gino
sale. You
gyonna-
need to think about very carefully.
Emirimu gino gyonna egy'okuyambako okukola omulimu guno olina
Once you have
okugirowoozaako.
all these, then you can go and now launch. You decide your launch.
Bw'omala okufuna bino byonna n'okubissa mu nkola kati ng'otandika ng'osimbula.
Let me move away from the farm. Kangende kati the restaurant. Now we opened the restaurant. What was the launch? I invited all my friends,
Nayita
all
mikwano
my
gyange,
family,
abafamire,
everyone on the building.
buli omu ku kizimbe,
I offered free food.
ne mbawa emmere nga ya bwereere.
It's a marketing gimmick. It's me giving my business, my new business visibility.
Kati nze
Okitegeera?
bizinesi yange
Yeah.
empya
So
njiwa
you choose your strategy,
ekifaananyi.
but those are the things you need to think
Bye
about.
ebintu by'olina okulowoozaako.
Okay. Now your farm, I was telling you about.
Kati faamu
I
gye mbadde
later
mbagambako nalemererwa.
18 months in the business.
Emyezi 18
I
mu
walked
bizinesi n'enkivaamu.
Yeah, I walked away. I failed.
Ne
Why?
nnemererwa
I
lwaki?
learned my lessons later.
Nayiga essomo oluvannyuma.
I think this is important just for us to know.
Kati
I'm doing this with live examples, just so you understand.
Kino kya makulu ndeeta
Not
ebyokulabirako
everything that is
ebyobuliwo.
carefully planned and well planned will actually pan out the way you expect
Si
it to.
buli kimu nti kyoteeseteese obulungi kijja kuvaamu bulungi.
Pastor Ezra said, if you're losing money,
Musumba Ezra yagambye bw'oba
but how do
ofiirwa
you know you're losing
ssente,
money?
omanya otya nti ofiirwa ssente?
Because you're keeping records.
Kubanga otereka
Remember, an accountant, it helped that I was an accountant. So for
otereka
me, these
ebiwandiiko. Nze kyannyamba kuba nali
things
mubalirizi
came
wa
like
bitabo.
second nature. Kiringa for me, okutereka ebitabo n'okuwandika byentuuze.
Keeping
Ne-
records.
It was like waking up in the morning for me. It was
Kyabanga
like eating
kuzuukuka
breakfast
ku makya
kumacha. It
n'okulya
was
ekyenkya.
natural for me.
Kyali kya
For you, it may
bulijjo
not
gye
be. So my advice is
Kati kugwe
maintain
kiyinza
those
obutaba
records.
kya bulijjo.
My records were telling me I was losing money.
Ebiwandiiko byange nga biŋŋamba nali nfiirwa
Maybe you may want
ssente.
to know why.
Nali nina okumanya lwaki.
I did my projections, me being an accountant. I did my numbers.
Nze okubeera omubalirizi w'ebitabo nabaako bye nali
Sales
mbalabala.
forecasts. Now, to the muscle, looking at my sales ahead.
Okay. Okulaba eby'omu maaso bye ŋŋenda okutunda.
My forecast based on volume, maybe 1,000 chicken
Nga nsinziira ku bungi.
times the price per kilo. I did that for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Then because they're looking amazing.
Nga byonna mbiraba nga byonna birungi.
But it did not pan out like that. The reality on the ground when I started, it was different. Now, my challenge is I did not arrange my market.
Obuzibu bwali nti
I had a business plan.
saateekateeka. Pulaani ya bizinesi
Yeah.
nagirina.
In the business plan, you write your marketing strategies and things like that.
Monte-
You're going to produce chicken.
Mu nteekateeka ya bizinesi buli kimu
You have to sell it,
okiwandiika.
right?
Olina
Who are you going to
okugitunda.
sell to?
Ani
I never
gwani
answered
gw'ogenda
that question.
okutunza ekyo saakiddamu.
I started raising the chicken.
ne ntandika okukuza enkoko.
My projections were showing, in fact, part of my operational plan as well.
N'ekimu ku nteekateeka zange ez'okukola.
I needed to rear the chicken for 6 to 7 weeks, tops.
Nalina okulunda enkoko zino wiiki 6 ku 7.
But I ended up rearing the chicken for 9 to 10 weeks.
Naye ne nkomekerera nga nunze wiiki 9 ku 10.
Why?
Lwaki?
I had no one coming to buy my chicken. I did not arrange. Now, let me give you a bit of background.
Kati kankuweeko ku kyafaayo ekitonotono.
My capacity, ebiyumba by'enkoko bye nazimba byali for 9,000 birds.
Ebiyumba, the chicken houses that I had built byali bya nkoko 9.
Every Thursday, I was getting 1,200 chicks from Biyinzika.
Buli lwankuna nali nfuna enkoko 1,200 okuva mu
When I started this
Biyinzika.
business, by the way, okay, I didn't tell you. Along the way, when the farm was coming up, everything, I have some savings, which fixed deposit. Omulimu ne nguleka 2010.
Wakati mu
Yeah,
kuba
I left
omulimu
it. Let
naguleka
me go finish
nga
the farm
ninawo
quickly and I
ssente.
start trading. Nentandika.
Kangende ntandika efaamu.
Ebiyinzika, every Thursday ngangenda mmotoka ki.
Biyinzika buli lwakuna.
I had a Mercedes Benz nga mwenteeka enkoko.
Nalina
The chicks.
Benz. That's where I used to put the
Imagine a
chicks.
saloon car, not a Mercedes Benz van, saloon, eh? It's what I had, so I was using it. After all, I left my job.
Kati nga gye
So,
nkozesa
one,
navudde
I
ku
put
mulimu.
those boxes of chicks
Bokisi z'obukoko
from Kampala to
nenziteekamu
Kachiri. Yeah,
nenzitwala e Kachiri.
every Thursday. So 1,200 every Thursday.
1,200.
So week by week, 7, 8, I got into a capacity of 9,000.
Nenfuna
Now the
enkoko
plan was
9.
synchronized farming. That was the plan. Taking 1,200, sell at least 1,000.
Kati kuyingiza 1,200 tunda waakiri 9.
Lukumi. Nga mulimu ezifudde. With a mortality rate of about 10-15%. I'd done my numbers.
Ng'obazenga 2 ezifudde.
I never realized that. So I was raising the chicken for longer.
Kati
Nga zindya.
enkoko nali nzikuza bbanga
I
ddene.
remember that number in my head very clearly.
Ennamba ezo nzijjukira mu bwongo
Price per
bwange.
chicken, 5,600 nga webagula.
Ebbeeyi ya buli nkoko 5,600.
Mujjukira nga ngulako enkoko at 5,600 shillings per
Aba
kilo.
capital shoppers baali bangulako 5,600 buli kiro.
6 weeks, if I read them up to 6 weeks, what I was feeding them, byonna
Wiiki 6 buli kye nali
was lower
nze
than
nali
5, 6. I
mbiriisa.
would make money. But because I was going over,
Naye
my
olw'okuba nga nali
cost was
neeyongerayo.
7,000 shillings. Naye nga bangulako, per
Ebbe-
kilo, bangulako ku 5, 6.
Ensaasanya ye yali kasanvu
Straight
naye
up I was
ng'ate
losing
bangulako
money.
5,600.
Remember, like I told you, nali musajja mugagga.
Kati
Nga
jjukira.
nina ku sente.
I had some money.
Fixed deposits. I kept breaking fixed deposits, to fund, to put back into. Now, remember, these are from my savings.
Namenyanga
That's how I funded
savings
my
zange
business.
ezo
I broke a 100 million shilling deposit. Nenziteekamu.
miliyoni 10 I invested in.
6 months, 9
Myezi
months,
6, myezi
12
9,
months,
myezi 12,
another
zonna nga
100
zigenda.
million.
miliyoni 10 ne zigenda.
It just didn't work anyway. It didn't work. It was not working.
Tekyakola.
So, I will tell you, I spectacularly failed in that business.
Ne nnemererwa
One of the
ddala.
first things was because I never organized my market bulungi, because it ensured that I hold the chickens for longer,
Ekisooka saateekateeka katale kange kubanga enkoko nazikuumanga ebbanga ddene.
which was a huge cost.
Ekyali kinnyingiramu ennyo.
The long and short of this story is
Obuwanvu
sente
n'obumpi
savings
bw'olugero luno.
zigwawo,
Savings
nengenda
are
mu
done.
money lenders. Remember
Nengenda
also,
mu
by
bawozi
the
ba
way,
ssente.
me and my bank, I'll tell you, business si mpya.
This business is not new.
Isn't this business new?
Oh.
Polity, it is new. I've just left my job.
no.
I've opened it. It's a new business.
Eno business
Most banks will
empya.
not touch you.
Banka ezisinga tezijja kukwatako.
The new projects, new business, they rarely fund them.
Ezitandika
So
baba
of
tebajja
course, I use
kuyamba.
my funding, my savings,
Nenkozesa
nezigwawo,
saving
nengenda the
and
money
it was done.
lenders.
Nengenda mu bawozi ba ssente.
Nazo nga zibulira mu kituli, nziteekamu zibula bubuzi. Interest rate nga is too high.
Amagoba nga
Nagenda
mangi.
okuddaka one day, I told you I'm an accountant. Nembala ebintu nga tebikwatagana. Sente, I borrowed 7 million first of all.
Neewola miliyoni 7
Nemborrowinga
kusooka.
another 10.
Ne neewola endala 10.
3 months down the road,
Emyezi
ezaali
3 nga giyise,
7 nga ziri
ezaali 7
38.
kati nga ziri 38.
Ezaali 10
What
nga
was
ziri
10?
50.
Ne
50 million.
ne zifuuka 5.
Nenkita.
And
Yeah.
I gave up.
Yeah, I left it. All my savings, treasury bills that I had, I liquidated. Nziteeke mu business, nezigwawo.
Savings zonna ne zigwawo ze nali nziggyeyo.
Nengenda mu ba money lender.
Nengenda mu bawozi
Nazo
ba
ziizo
ssente.
zikula bukuzi ate. Nengamba ekyenkoko nkitadde naye mulindeeko maize meal I had not even started the maize meal.
nali
Why?
sinaba na kutandika ku
Imported
biro
my
lya
machine
buwunga
from China.
ekyuma kyange
It
nakijja
cost me
China
$18,000.
ne kindyako omutwalo
I
gumu
built a
kanaano
huge
gwa dola
warehouse. Maize meal kali ku bbali. Built a huge warehouse.
ne nzimba etterekero eddene
I could put in 10-ton trucks eza kasooli
nga
if I got into that
nteekamu
capacity. That was a
nga nteekamu
plan,
ttani
huge.
10
In fact, ab'oku kyalo baali balona build. In fact, n'ennyumba z'enkoko, when we were building, people were thinking, ono musajja asimbye essomero, ebyumba by'enkoko nga biringa classrooms. For real.
the chicken houses
Me,
look
because
like
of who was my
classrooms.
background, nga ebintu bye nakola nga bya mutindo ogwo nga bitwala ssente nnyingi. I didn't need to. That's why, but some of these things are also important. There are certain things you don't have to do. You
Waliwo
don't have
ebintu
to-
by'otalina
I mean,
kukola.
biyumba bya nkoko, they don't have to be solid bricks. And, you know, that's what I did.
tebirina
I
kuba
made a
bya
mistake. I made so many
mabulooka
mistakes.
ekyo nange kye nakola ate nakola
So I
ensobi
got home, ne ngamba, kino kitadde. What is plan B?
ekyokubiri
I had
plan
no
B
plan B. I
nga
left
sirina
my
plan
job,
B
corporate
nava ku
job.
mulimu
At that time, bali bansasula 2010, 18 million a month.
mu kaseera ako baali bansasula miliyoni 18
But
buli
my
mwezi
projections, me nga ndaba ngenda kukola ssente mpitirivu.
mu kulaba okwange I was going to
Nenguta.
make a lot of money
18 months, I was
myezi
out of money.
18 nga sente
Nga nina
ziweddewo
amabanja kati.
I had a lot
Omusajja
of
yalina
debts.
ssente,
man who
nalina
had
benzi
money
yange, mukazi wange avuga benzi.
my wife was driving a Benz
No business, no income
nga tewali
potentially, because
business
my
nga
wife was
tewali sente
working.
we ziva
Oh, so I panicked.
nenkankana nentya
But I had some property nengamba kati nkoze ntya. Naye one of the things that was frustrating, nabagambye, market.
akatale
I never arranged my market.
Saategeka akatale
Nekinsigalamu
kange.
muno. I was frustrated.
namalibwamu
Nunde enkoko
amaanyi
zange. In fact, first, omuguzi eyasooka okujja yatwala enkoko 3.
the first buyer took 300
Omanyi, this man was, nga Pastor Israel said, the middleman. Ye tali farmer, nze nali farmer. Teyali farmer.
Ye-
Najja ku makya 6 a.m. because namukwira before we arrange ne price. Najja ne ka pick up ke kalina kg n'ateekamu enkoko 3.
he put in 300 chicks.
Nazitwala the abattoir here. Meat packers. Meat packers mulimu abatunda enkoko, but they have refrigerator, they have reefers.
Enkoko
Refrigeration
nazitwala ku
facilities,
meat
those were
packers.
their facilities. Here is a middleman. Ajjeewo ku farm yo, n'atwala enkoko, n'azitwala.
He comes to the farm, takes your
He
hand,
dresses them. N'aziggyako ebyoya ebyomunda biki byonna ye.
n'azitereza
Nakugamba yajjanga 6 a.m. nagamba
Ng'ajja
saa
12
mukaaga jangu ewange mu kikolero kyange tuzikole ki
he tells you come at midday
tuzipime. So we weigh them.
and we weigh them
Yeah, and we weigh them. So I would go at midday. He has taken my 300 chicken
nengenda
kumacha
ku saa mukaaga
at
atutte
6.
enkoko zange 3 kati
Omanyi nga
akugamba
kyampa?
ntwala Serena ne Sheraton bagenda kumpa mu
Ampa
weekend
kipapula.
gives me a paper
Hey, whatever I promised to pay 1 week. Yeah.
nsuubiza okusasula mu week
I
emu
have no one buying my chicken, so I walk away with the paper.
sirina muntu n'omu agula
That is
nkoko
why,
za kati nga
that's one of
nange
the reasons why I
ntambula
went to money lenders. Ngani take a working capital.
kati yensonga lwaki
Enkoko
nagenda mu
zivayo ku
manirenda
farm, nazifunirawo cash. But I have to operate. Nino ziriisa, nino kukola ki, nino kugula mu chicks.
I have to
that's
feed
how I went to
them.
money lenders. That's what you think. Finances, yeah, understanding operations and all these things are very, very important. Even your
okutegeera
market.
enkola y'ebintu bino
All this we are
kyamakulu
talking
ddala
about, very, very important.
byonna byamakulu ddala bye twogerako
But then nekivaamu, how do I come to do the things I'm doing now? Around that time, I'd opened a salon already.
mu kaseera ako nali nziguddewo saloon
Kwa Kamwesi. That was in 2008. Remember 2010, I leave my job to go on.
2010
First
ndeko omulimu
saloon,
gwange
big,
saloon
one of the
eyasooka
biggest, Era Beauty Lounge, one of the biggest in Kampala, by the way.
ng'eyemu ku nnene eziri mu
Huge.
kampala
I opened that one. Of course, najigula nga nkyakola. Now it's the only thing that I had. Forget my,
kyekyo kyokka kye
wife's job.
nalina
Forget
weerabira
that.
omulimu gwa mukyala wange
But it's all I had. Nenga kati nkole ntya.
and I asked myself what I
It was
should do
not doing badly. Nengamba,
Yali tekola bubi.
maybe let me put more money into the salon
kanyongeremu
business.
ssente mu salooni muno
Ekya nengamba, but oh, I've missed something. When I was trying to sell my chicken,
bwe nali
mu
ngezaako tunda enkoko
salooni nali nateekamu freezers ng'enkoko zange nzisala ku farm nga nzireete nga nziteeka mu freezer.
I
Bakasitoma
had
bange
freezers
bakusala
in the
enviiri.
salon
Oba okukola enviiri, yeah, would come and buy chicken.
and my customers in the salon
So
nga
that is good
bagula
revenue.
enkoko
So my frustration also was, this man is a middleman. That man would come at 6 a.m., not a farmer.
omusajja oyo
I've
nga
reared
si
the
mu-
chicken for 9
nga
weeks.
si mulunzi
For
ajja
him, he
okukima
comes one
enkoko
day, n'azitwala,
yajja mu lunaku lumu
n'azitunda within 1 year n'afuna sente.
He
But
takes
the
all
more
the
money than me
hands and
omulunzi.
gets
I
more
got
money.
frustrated. I get back home, nengamba mukyala wange, I wish I had a restaurant. I wish I
nenzirayo
had a
waka, and I
restaurant.
told my wife kale
So
singa nalina
when I
restaurant.
failed to farm,
Bwe nalemererwa ku farm
that thing was like, okay, what is plan B?
ne
Maybe
ŋŋamba
I
plan
open a
B eriwa
restaurant.
kanzigulewo restaurant.
Naye sirina sente.
I didn't have
Manere
money.
manja. Sente zange zonna zaggwawo. What did I do? I had some properties.
Nalinawo amataka,
Okay, properties, yes. They are houses, property. Yeah.
amayumba.
I took them. In fact, I was living in Nile Bank House. We had bought them.
Twali tubeera mu
Nenjiteekayo mu
Bank
bank.
House ne ngiteekayo.
Then call a business plan. The bank wanted number one, to expand the saloon, to open another saloon. And to
Okugulawo
start
saloon
a
endala ye
new
plan
business
gye nabawa
restaurant. Remember, I'm not in
n'okutandikawo
a restaurant.
bizinensi empya.
See, I'm following all these things. Yeah, take an application,
Ne
proposal.
ntwalayo ebyo ebiwandiiko.
Ne bakoma ne baŋŋamba.
They came back and told me.
Fortunate nga nakava mu banka abasinga ba credit mbona abasinga mbamanyi.
Ekyomukisa omulungi,
David,
I knew everyone.
restaurant tojja kufuna sente. Saloon ye baddewo.
The saloon has been
Bajja
there.
kuwa sente.
They will give you
Nalinjagala
money.
70 million for another saloon.
I wanted
Neetaaga
million
110
nsanvu.
110 for the
Nga njagala
restaurant.
million 10 eza
Yeah,
restaurant.
in fact, no, actually, 100, yeah, for the
Million
restaurant.
10 eza
70 for
restaurant.
the saloon.
Nsanvu eza saloon.
170 total. I
10
told them
nsanvu.
2 proposals. They're like, no, we cannot give you for the restaurant.
Mwagala tetusobola kuwa
This
za
guy was my
restaurant.
friend. I go, don't worry.
N'akugamba
Let's put the
teweeraliikirira.
100 on top in the saloon business. Just
Kati
do one
ekikumi
proposal, one business case.
katuziteeke ku
For the saloon.
salooni.
Since it already exists,
Gwe waayo
it's easier to
ekiwandiiko
fund.
kimu.
The committee will look at it, approve, and
Abakomiti bajja kitunulira
Era
kagejje
kinakola.
kiri nti kintu kimu.
I revised my application and all the documentation.
Ne mbiddamu
Ne bampa sente.
and they gave me
Property
money.
yo nesigalayo. What did I do?
Ekizimbe
I
ne
did that.
kisigalayo.
Nafuna sente bo wali balooza bafaanira just a saloon.
I got the
Kola
money.
saloon ne restaurant.
I
That's
continue
how
with
it
the
started.
salon ne ntandika ne
That's how I
restaurant.
actually started the restaurant.
Bwe ntyo bwe
identifying
natandika.
a business, there's so many ways you can actually get into something. But the
Okutunuulira
idea
oba
is
okufuna
born.
bizinensi.
Yeah. Is it planted in you along the way?
Ekirowoozo
Sometimes you need to
ekyo
be in
kitondebwa mu
tune
ggwe.
and alert to these opportunities when they come.
Olina kulaba mikisa gino bwe
Now,
gijja.
let me tell you about the second saloon. Remember, nabagambye I had a saloon already in
Jjukira
2008.
nakugambye
yasooka.
nabadde nina saaluuni. Nali nina
So when
saaluuni.
I failed to farm, nengamba kati nkole ki?
Bwe nalemererwa ku farm,
Sigenda
and I asked
kudda
myself
mu
what I
corporate
should do.
I still want to do business. I have failed, but I'm not giving
Nkyayagala
up.
okukola bizinensi nemereddwa naye sigenda kuwanika.
That's why I applied nenfuna 170 million.
Bwe nafuna millions 170
Ne planning okugulawo saloon.
and I plan to
Ne
open up a
restaurant.
salon.
But how did
Ne
the
restaurant.
saloon wekamba kati Capital Shoppers mugirabe ndakawa yasooka.
Do you know Capital Shoppers in
Bangabira
Nakawa?
ano ne mukyala we were in the supermarket business, yeah, retail business.
Bali mu business ya supermarket.
Bagulawo the first big supermarket for them
They,
in Nakawa.
they opened up
Remember kati
business
saloon yo yali
supermarket
kwaka
eyasooka
mwezi
ennene.
nga ku moves awo.
Jjukira saloon eyasooka yali
Mrs.
kwaka
Ngabirano,
mwezi.
mukyala wa Ngabirano nga atera okujja kuba wali wakumpi ng'ajjayo
Mukyala wange Ngabirano used to come.
ng'akola enviiri. One day n'aŋŋamba ng'asaswa ku counter ng'agenda.
Olunaku lumu she told me
We are building a second mall.
tuli mu kuzimba ekizimbe
Ntinda.
ekyokubiri.
Come and take a
Ntinda.
look at it. Do you want
Jangu
to
okirabe.
expand?
Oyagala
Now
kugaziwa.
that time I was not thinking. I've gone back a bit. I'm not thinking of expanding.
Kati akaseera ako nzizeeyo emabega nali sinnaba kukirowoozaako.
Nengamba, nenze nengamba mukyala wange, Mrs. Ngabirano agambye
I went back and told my wife
tetulina sente.
and she said we have no
Tetutagenda 2
money.
months 3 months. Ate
Myezi
n'akomawo
ebiri,
olulala.
myezi esatu, she came
David,
back.
did you visit? Nengamba, nedda.
Wagenzeeyoko and I said no.
Ngamba, no customer for mulungi. It's okay. Tumale gagenda. Let's just go.
Gamba tumale
Tuusa
gagenda.
mukolo just to make her happy. She's our customer.
Tumusanyuse busanyusa.
Twatuuka e Ntinda.
When
Ogira
we reached in Ntinda-
Capital Shoppers ey'e Ntinda.
Are
Yeah?
you seeing Ntinda Capital Shoppers?
Huge mall.
Kizimbe kinene.
Twakina tugamba, ate nga kiri ku kkubo. Nengamba,
Was by
wait a
the
minute.
roadside.
Location.
Ekifo.
Mwah, super. Already.
Nga
Me as
kirungi.
Somebody, even you can think like that.
Naawe
Location.
kennyini osobola okulowooza bw'otyo.
Kino kiyinza okukola.
This might
Location
work.
eri super.
Ekifo kirungi.
Now remember we were talking about opening a second saloon.
Kati twali twogera kugulawo saloon ey'okubiri.
Idea netandika okuyingira mu bwongo.
Ekirowoozo ne kitandika
We
okuyingira.
can, but sente zivudde olaba.
Tusobola, but
business
where
ya
is the money
finance,
coming
sente
from?
zivudde wa?
Where is the
Ndi
money going to
mabanja,
come from?
savings tetuyina.
I'm in debts, we don't
But
have
location
savings.
is good.
Naye
What
ekifo
can I
kino
do?
kirungi. What do we do?
Yeah. Ne tuddayo olulala about 2 weeks just to see how far nga tuba.
Weeks
Bali
ibiri, we
ku
went back.
third floor. Ne
Mwaliiro
tusangayo
ogwokusatu,
mwami we Mr. Ngabirano.
we found the husband.
I met him for the first time, introduced
Ne
myself.
musinkana
You're the
omulundi
one who
ogwasooka
wants to take the
neneeyanjula.
saloon space ku ground floor.
Ye gwayagala okuteeka
Yes.
salooni
Okay, good.
wansi.
Tutandika okwogera olwo I haven't made up my mind yet naye nga the opportunity is
Nga
there.
sinnaba
But-
kusalawo naye
but
ng'omwaganya
what this
weeguli.
offer
They've
for
given us
space,
offers.
super space, premium space. So we are considering it. So we are looking to the Wagulu. This mall is
And I
huge.
started asking him
Yes.
questions.
Twice the size
Ekizimbe
of
kino
Nakawa.
kinene kisingako Nakawa.
Mwina kubeera n'abakozi bameka. Wano
How
tugenda
many
kubeera
workers are
n'abakozi
you going to
205.
have? We are going to have 250 workers.
E Nakawa tulina 105.
In Nakawa, we have 150.
Okay. I don't know, because of that restaurant thing in my mind,
Olw'okubanga nalina ekirowoozo
Ani
kya
ogenda
restaurant.
okubaliisa?
And I asked him, who is going to feed you?
No, I haven't thought about it.
Naga
Do you
tetunnakirowooza.
want it? We're talking
Okyagala.
about the saloon to visit this mall
Tuli mu kwogera ku
for a saloon
saloon,
space.
we visited the mall.
But somebody came to mind, wait a minute.
Ekirowoozo
Abakozi
ne kijja.
250? Ani agenda
50
okubaliisa?
workers, who is going to feed them?
Okay, naga, do you want it?
Gw'okyagala.
Do you want the business?
Oyagala
I
business?
just said yes.
Ne mugamba nti ye.
Serious? Ngamba yes.
Ne mugamba ye.
Okay, but you have to get a space for the restaurant
Naye
here on the
okufuna
building.
ekifo ekya restaurant wano ku kizimbe.
Nengamba, okay.
Ne mugamba kale.
I just said okay. Because Charlie and Anthony,
My wife
in
looked
my
at me.
mind, tiachogera, but I think she's going to mulalu.
Mu
You know, in
bwongo
my mind, I
bwange.
just no.
Mu bwongo bwange, and I thought,
I said, yeah. You know, okay, we shall talk some more.
nga tujja
Let me tell
kweyongera
you, that is
twogere.
how I started putting together
Bwe ntyo bwe natandika
your business plan to the
okugatta
bank. 70 for the saloon,
bizinensi miliyoni 7 eza
110
salon,
for the restaurant. That's how it came about.
10
Now I was thinking about
is a
the finance.
restaurant.
Now this is enough.
I didn't have the money.
And let me put it, I can't put this in Luganda, but let me put this in English. Around that time, I came across a definition of entrepreneurship which stuck with me for a long time.
Mu
Up to now.
kaseera ako ne nfuna ekigambo ekyali kitegeeza okutandikawo bizinensi kikyategeeza gye ndi.
It said, it goes like this.
Nga kigamba.
Entrepreneurship
Okutandikawo bizinensi
is the pursuit of business opportunity
kwe okugoberera emyagaanya egya bizinensi
without due regard for the resources held at hand.
watali biriwo bitandika by'otunuulidde.
What this is, laba. Nali in debt, nina amabanja, sina sente.
I
But
had
guess what?
debts, nga
Nalaba
sirina sente.
opportunity.
But I saw an opportunity.
Tekyaŋŋaana okulaba opportunity, oba even to seize it. Esente zange naye sina sente.
I did not have money because I was in debts.
Naye nze nalaba opportunity.
Nalaba omwagaanya.
Natandika ne opportunity.
I started
Ne
with the
ndyoka ndowooza nti kati
opportunity,
okay, sente zivuddewa.
and then I thought about where the money is going to come from.
Sometimes tugenda ne tulemererwa n'obeera awo.
Olumu we fail,
You meet a friend or any contact.
osinkana ow'omukwano,
N'akuwa opportunity gwe quickly n'ogamba no kubanga
N'akuwa
mu nsawo ne
omwagaanya.
under your pillow oba ne account toyina oba ne ku mobile money toto oyina emitwalo 10.
and very first you
Naye
decline
nga
because
this-
you do not have money.
Naye nga this business opportunity ya mitwalo 3 kubanga oyinawo 10. Very quickly n'ogamba no, it's okay, I can't do it.
Naye ng'omwagaanya guno it's worth
But
300,000.
we are God's people. We do amazing things.
Tuli
We have
bantu
the
ba
power
Katonda,
to do
tulina
amazing
amaanyi
things.
agakola ebintu eby'amaanyi.
Yes, just try. What is this?
Kiki kino?
What does this relate to, by the way? Is
Kino
it
kyekuusa ku ki?
related to the conference, or is it something for the Benjamin House?
Kino
Think
kyekuusa
big.
conference. Yeah.
Conference. Now, precisely, that is the thinking big.
Ekyo kwe kulowooza mu bugazi.
That is the thinking big.
Ekyo kwe kulowooza mu bugazi.
Okay, I'm running out of time here. But regarding how to identify and to start a business, that's what I was trying to touch on.
Ekikwata ku
To share my
kuzuula,
experience and how I got about doing the things that I am doing now.
Okugabana ku byebyo
I hope that will
byempiseemu.
help. I hope that really helps.
Nsuubira ekyo
The
kijja
final one is
kuyamba.
to sustain. How do you sustain a business?
Ogibezaawo otya bizinensi eyo.
You know, the strategies or the practices, the things that you have to do to ensure that your business has long-term potential.
Ebintu by'olina
Long-run
oteeka mu nkola nti
survival.
bizinensi
That
yo
is long-term
ebeerewo
growth, long-term
ebbanga eddene.
profitability. That is what we're talking about here.
Ekyo kye twogerako.
How do you sustain the business?
Obeezaawo otya
For the
bizinensi
future.
olw'ebiseera by'omu maaso.
The things that you're going to do every day,
Ebintu
every
by'ogenda
day,
okukola
on a
buli
monthly
lunaku,
basis, on a regular
buli
basis, to
mwezi,
ensure
bulijjo.
that the business has long-run survival.
Okukakasa nti
That it
bizinensi
is a going
etambula.
concern in accountants. Some accountants love that a lot. It's a going concern. Yeah. So one of them is we just talked about financial management.
Kimu
I
tukyogeddeko
can't
okwasaganya
overemphasize
ebyensimbi.
this.
Kino ky'osobola
Keep your numbers.
okikkaatiriza ddala.
Buli ekifuluma business.
Whatever comes out of the
n'ekiyingira.
business and whatever comes in,
Record it.
kiwandiike wansi.
You will never know whether you're making money or losing money if you don't have records.
tolimanya oba okola sente
Ojja
oba
kuba oteebereza
ozifiirwa bw'obanga
bw'okola sente,
towandiika.
okwata sales.
You just be in
Ogenda
guesswork.
okwesa, ojja kubeera mu kituli ekine. You'll get there without knowing how you got there.
ojja tuukayo nga tomanyi na bw'otuuseeyo.
But the numbers
naye
are
namba
the early warning system.
bwe butaala obwo obukulabula.
And remember, like we said, numbers, that data that you turn into information for decision making,
ezo
is
namba
what improves
z'ofuula
your chances
obuwandiike
of your business
There's-
surviving for the long term.
zezongerako emikisa egya bizinensi y'okubeerawo ebbanga eddene.
The other things also, Pastor Israel had mentioned.
omusumba Ezra yabyogeddeko.
In a business, the customer is important.
mu bizinensi kasitoma wa makulu nnyo.
Not only do you want to meet that need, whatever problem there exists, that
toyagala
you're there
bwagaze
to solve,
sisinkana kyetaaga ekyo naye buli kizibu
you want to
ekiriwo.
certify this customer. So think
Oyagala
about the customer every day. Yes,
oyagala
your business is
okumatiza
doing well
kasitoma
now.
ono naye mulowoozeeko buli lunaku.
But things change. Do not
ebintu
slacken.
bikyuka.
That's why you need to have serious focus on the customer.
olina okuba nga kasitoma omutaddeko
Constantly get to
amaanyi.
know customer ayagala chi.
What does your customer want?
Ensure until you understand what your customer wants.
kakasa nti otegeera kasitoma wo kyayagala.
Add value to that product if you can to keep that customer. So
gattako
constantly
omutindo ku
get to
kintu ekyo
understand.
ky'otunda okuume kasitoma wo.
The other thing is, the business plan, the iteration of your business plan. How can I say this? Remember, we said into what time you business, identifying and starting a business. It's important that you do a business plan.
If you're starting a business,
Remember, that business
enteekateeka ya
plan
business.
was captured, assuming your business started 3 years ago, captured the environment at that time.
ekwasaganya ekifo ekyo mu kaseera ako.
Constantly review your business plan. Go back to it.
ddayo bulijjo mu nteekateeka yo
Go back
eya
to it.
bizinensi gye watandika nayo.
Yeah, the customer, so in the area you're living in, numbers
bakasitoma mu
have
kitundu
grown,
ky'obeeramu abantu
competitors
bakoze,
baza abalala.
abalala abatunda
The
ebintu
regulatory
by'ebyokola.
environment has changed. URA wants this.
Ab'emisolo,
ACC ayagala kino.
buli kaseera bo bakubye
Constantly
bongeza.
update yourself on what is happening in the environment.
wezze bujja na buli bintu
As a
ebibeerawo mu
business plan.
kitundu
Your
mw'obeera.
marketing strategies, change them.
Akatale
Social
ko
media is maybe
kakyuse.
related to, honest, by the time I started before my business then, for poultry,
Bwe nga
social media
sennatandika,
wasn't a big thing.
ebyemitimbagano
a channel
tebyali
now.
kintu kinene nnyo.
Yeah, it's a channel now.
Kakati
Adapt to that.
byatiikiridde.
So innovate. Yeah, constantly innovate. Be
Baako
adaptable.
ky'oyiiya.
Adapt to the environment.
bwe tambula
Yeah.
n'ekitundu mw'oli.
Operational efficiency. We lose money
tufiirwa ssente
when the processes are phased to maybe it's maize milling and whatever, ziri inefficient.
wena processes
Because it is-
tezikola bulungi.
Because in you kwenda kweza ngo wetaga abantu mukaaga instead of abantu instead of abantu bana.
You realize that
Think
you
about
need
it.
6 instead of
How
4.
can I improve my processes? So
nsobola
you
ntya
bring your
okukakasa
costs down.
emitendera gyange
That operational
emiwendo
efficiency.
gisse wansi.
All those cost savings add up in the end. What do?
ebyo byonna byegatta ne
They ensure
byetuuma
until your bottom line here, your profit is
gwe kakasa
bigger.
nti wansi awo
remember-
wamagoba waba wanene.
The mandate of any businessman is maximize revenue, minimize cost. So every day, those are things you should be thinking about. Maximize revenue, minimize cost. Constantly.
kendeeza ensaasaanya.
That way, you ensure until oinauka profit akasigadeo that you can do with whatever you can. Like Pastor Ezra again said, you can distribute it to yourself or
yagambye osobola
reinvest. Remember, reinvesting
okukyesasula
ensures
oba okukizzaayo mu bizinensi.
there is expansion, there is growth.
jjukira nti wabawo okugaziwa n'okukula.
Allow me, ladies and gentlemen,
munzikiriza
to,
abaami
say this is
n'abakyala
what I-
okukoma wano.
Thank you.